Hi guys, welcome to day 2. Following the last video, I've put the order in for parts, so I've got the order in for all new calipers and things like that. They are yet to arrive, but we've got a couple of other jobs that we can get on with. So yeah, join me as we start working on that. Because I'm limited on parts currently, the plan is to do part of the servicing on the engine of the things I have, so like the dizzy, cap, rotor arm, etc. But also to replace the fuse box. So on the passenger side, you have these fuses, which are all the old style ceramic. I think they're called ceramic fuses. Now, the fuse box itself, there's nothing wrong with it. Everything looks in good condition. The main thing is getting hold of these fuses are not easy. So if you have a problem, you can't easily just go to a shop and get one. So we're lucky enough, Brookhouse Volvo sell this, which is a basically OEM fitment replacement which uses the blade fuses. So it's a lot easier to get the fuses and replace them. The plan is remove this old one, which is just 2 screws holding it here, and then put this one in and reconnect it all, and it works as OEM, so everything just plugs in on the side there and it's just done. Right. So I'm going to get on with that now. Hopefully it won't take too long. Remember, disconnect the battery before electrics, but hopefully it won't be long and everything will be working on a new fuse box. Right, so there we go. That's the new fuse box in place. I've tested everything that I can. It seems to be working. So, like hazards, rear screen, fan, lights, etc. all seem to have come on as expected. Nothing's changed. And the only thing I have noticed, I've never checked this before, is the alternator doesn't seem to be charging. So I'm going to have to look in the book later and find out how the charging circuit works. But in the meantime, I can continue doing other servicing. I'm not putting any of this back together yet because I've got to fit other parts in the engine bay which will require new wiring. But I'm going to bring you around to the engine bay and explain all that. So here's the engine. I've already done a couple of things to it. Like, I think the biggest thing I need to do is the oil. Not that you can see it in here, but there is fuel in the oil, and every time you open the bonnet you can smell it, and that's because this filter is draining back overnight and emptying fully, and basically it's going bypassing the filter and going into the sump. The other things I've already done is, as you can see, the new coil's just there at the moment. It is going to be put in its correct place, but if I take the cap off the distributor and put the rotor around, I've converted it to electronic ignition already, which is why I've got further wiring to do, because as you can see the wiring is just to the coil, so it's not done correctly. That's been done already, mainly because the old points were so far gone. I could remove a lead and it made no difference to the way the engine ran. So that's just been in so I could easily start the car and move it up and down the drive if needed. The plan is now is do the air filter, put the coil in the correct location, change the rotor arm, dizzy cap, leads. I've got new plugs, but I'm not going to do those until I've put in the new fuel system and tuned it all up, because I don't see any point in ruining a set of new plugs. And then once that's done, I'm sure there's no fuel leak in the engine anymore. Drop the oil and change it. So I'm going to get the parts and start fitting them. And that's everything changed. Well, apart from the leads, because embarrassingly I bought all the wrong ones. It's the right ones for the engine, but I completely forgot about the distributor cap. So on the earlier ones, of course, the distributor is here in the block, but some of the later ones have them in the back of the head. And which lead was it? This lead here will not reach over because it's too short, but it's a perfect size for going in the bag. So I've accidentally bought the wrong distributor cables, but that's not a problem. The leads on it are good. But the air filter's done. I think it wasn't too bad, but it's got a fresh one. Cap. Again, it was like, sorry, the arm was worn, but the cap looks like it had done a bit further. But everything's new now apart from the leads, so let's continue with the car. This is the end of the first half of day 2. As you can see, a lucky postman came and I've got my new filter to replace this one, mainly because as I'm replacing that fuel filter I'm going with an electronic one, because as you pick up, that's new but it's still failed, so I'd rather just go electric, not run that risk. But the electric pump arrived and it's going to be mounted down here. And then over here, looking at the alternator, the wires have lost all the insulation for the exciter cable, so I need to replace that and also take the alternator off just to check there's no damage to it. I might need to get a new alternator. But yeah, join me shortly when I start making the bracket for the new fuel pump. Right, so we're in the second half of day 2 now. Off camera, I built a little bracket to put on the chassis rail, which now has a solid state pump. I'm still waiting for the blank to arrive, then I can remove this off the block. Now I've converted it to like solid state pump. It comes from the back to there, up into this new filter, and then it will go into the carb. This is temporary because I don't actually have any 6mm fuel line, but once I do, the through will be replaced just for straight lining. So that's where I'm up to with the fuel. I need to wire it. I've just tested it currently by power probe, and there was no leaks or anything, which is good. And I'm also working on here. Problem I've found is the wiper motor doesn't actually work. Well, it does work, but it really struggles to clear the screen. So over here, I've been working on an adapter. So on the Volvo forums, it says you can use a front wiper from a 2001 S40 and modify it to actually connect up to the steering mechanism on this. So I'm currently working on that. Done so far is I'm making an extension to the shaft so I can get it through the bulkhead because it's too short as it is. Then once it's done, I need to modify this. So you can see here, this actually has a cut in it which goes into the arm here, and that's to locate it, but as it will stand now there's no way of locating it, so I need to wire it, work out how to get it in the right location and get it to park, build a mount for the bulkhead and go from there. But hopefully it won't take too long to sort everything out. Right, reached the end of day 2 now. Not got as much done as I hoped, but the new fuel pumps in, new fuel filter, engine has all been serviced apart from changing the oil. I've also made a good start on the new wiper motor.
the bracket's been made for that to fit it. I just need to connect all the linkages up tomorrow, make sure that works as expected, and then we've done all that. So yeah, tomorrow, I think tomorrow's going to be wiring the new fuel pump correctly, as well as the electronic ignition. That won't take too long to do. That's just a switch live and an earth, and then once that's done, hopefully the brakes will have arrived and I can start fitting the new brakes. So I hope you've enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.